All right, everyone, I think I finally figured it out, and I have some really important information to share with you guys, and it's also going to translate to some important things you're going to want to know about the future of the game, and this has to do with the next upcoming banner. And it's not 100% confirmed yet, but there has been a leak that we could be seeing Monspeet coming out. Now, Monspeet, of course, is somebody who I think myself, as well as a lot of other people, would have thought we would have had out by now. But it seems like Netmarble is actually following the trend of releasing both versions in the same banner. And this actually makes a lot of sense, specifically with Monspeet and why he hasn't come out until this point. Is if you take a look at the actual release order of past banners in the game, Red Monspeet should definitely have been out by now. He was added to the JP version of the game a long time ago. We've had many units come out afterwards, but because they are actually waiting to release both versions at the same time, Green Monspeet didn't actually come out until much later. You could see here all the way down right after even Lost Vein Meliodas came out. So it seems like they're kind of like averaging them out. You know, if they have two versions of a unit and one of them came out a really long time ago, but then the other one comes out even later after units that we've already gotten, it seems like they're kind of trying to pick a middle ground and releasing them both at the same time, kind of in the middle of where they would be in the release order. And this is something that we've now seen multiple times, right? Now, we've seen this with Estarossa, of course, which is the last banner, but Estarossa came out both versions on the JP version of the game, but we've also seen it with the Melasculas, right? And that's something where, once again, on the JP version, they did not come out at the same time. You have Blue Melascula right here, but then you have the Red Melascula, which doesn't actually come out until Derieri does on the JP version of the game. And they kind of did that same thing of picking a middle ground. So this very well could also happen with Gloxinia. And I know that's somebody else that a lot of people thought we would have probably have gotten by now. But Green Gloxinia comes out right here on the JP version. But then you have the Red Gloxinia, which doesn't actually come out until much later. You could see there, even past Green Monspeet. So it would not surprise me if that's also going to come out as a dual banner, probably a couple of weeks down the road. And we actually have a lot of information now that really pieces together the future timeline of the game very well. Of course, some of this information has to do with Derieri as well. So you know, I think I finally figured it out. I think it's pretty clear now that this is the direction of the game that Netmarble is going to go, and that also gives you a pretty good idea of what to expect when it comes to spending your gems versus skipping banners, is that these banners are now going to have the summoning pool version that gets added to the summoning pool after it ends, and it's also going to have the coin shop version where you'll be able to buy it with coins several weeks after the banner actually goes away. So with this information that we have, and also with this information that we have about the seasonal rules for PvP, it seems very likely that Monspeet is indeed going to be coming out this week. It's not confirmed though. Things could definitely change, but it seems likely, and it really does add up. It also seems like, with the way that we have things laid out, that Derieri is indeed going to come out the week after that. So, Monspeet, of course, is going to be the, the 10th, 11th, which is just a couple of days from now. And then Derieri is going to be for the next week's PvP rules, the 17th and the 18th. And you can see here, decreases all heroes damage taken by 50% when assuming stances. That's, of course, going to be for Estarossa, who we just got this week. And then increases all heroes damage dealt with single target attacks by 50%. That, of course, is really aimed at Derieri. Now I want to specifically get into Monspeet's banner and both versions of him. And just like a lot of the banners that we've had recently, there's one that's going to the coin shop and one of them that's going to be added to the Part 2 summoning pool. And for Monspeet, it's going to follow that same order where it's the red version that's going to be added to the summoning pool, and the green version is going to be the version that is available to buy in the coin shop several weeks later. So let's take a look at both of them here and really talk about whether his banner is going to be worth summoning on or not. Now, another thing that I've also noticed is the banners that have these kind of dual units, where you've got the coin shop version and then you've got the non-coin shop version, which gets added to the summoning pool. It seems like the other units, the non-rate up units on these banners, have all not been that great. I remember Escanor, Red Escanor's banner, didn't really have the best other units. Now we've had the Melasculus banner, we've had the Estarossa banner, so I think that's something else to keep in mind, is if you do want to end up summoning on one of these dual banners in the future, there's a pretty high chance that it's not going to have super insane units that are going to be in the banner besides whoever it is that they're featuring right up. So something else to take note of there. Now, let's get into Monspeet's actual stats and talk about both versions here. So you've got the red version. Red Monspeet is, of course, the version that is going to be added to the summoning pool. If you take a look at his abilities here, inflicts damage equal to 240% of attack on one enemy, inflicts damage equal to 300% of attack on one enemy, fills ultimate gauge by one orb, and inflicts damage equal to 500% of attack on one enemy, fills the ultimate gauge by 2 orbs. Now, this card looks very similar to somebody else who I use quite a bit, probably a good amount of you guys as well, and that is Escanor, Green Escanor's card. That is what this is right here. Not only a very strong damage, but you're also going to be able to fill the ultimate gauge as well. Now, the thing is, you have to keep in mind his commandment here, right? Allies and enemies will not gain ultimate move gauge from using skills in PvP. So, that's obviously pretty important. Then you have his second ability here, which is inflicts weak point damage equal to 80% on all enemies. So this is an AoE weak points, which gets bumped up to 110% and then gets bumped up to 170%. And of course, the ultimate removes stances from all enemies and inflicts damage equal to 280% of attack, applies 2 ignite effects for 4 turns. And you can see that gets boosted up from 280% to 420% when you get him up to 6 out of 6. Now, I already talked about his commandment, but then you've got his passive. This hero takes 30% less damage from ultimate move. And you can see here, just based off of the general unit rating, not the absolute best way to tell how powerful units are, but it's definitely a way to tell just at a first glance here. Not the most used, not the super most desirable unit, so is it going to be worth going out of your way to summon for him? It really depends. I mean, if you're a collector and you really want to get him, then sure, go for it. But if you are free to play or you're a light spender and you are really somebody who is saving gems for a lot of the crazy stuff that we're going to be getting in the future, I think it's pretty easy to skip out on Red Monspeet. And you will be able to get him as a general summon in the summoning pool later on. Now let's talk about Green Monspeet, because Green Monspeet is the coin shop version, and he's definitely going to be the Monspeet that sees a little bit more play. Now, taking a look at his cards, inflicts weak point equal to 120% of attack on one enemy. That's on one enemy right there, so not an AoE single target. Gets bumped up from 120 to 180%, and then gets bumped up from 180 to 300% as well. Now, getting into his second card here, inflicts damage equal to 220% attack on one enemy. Rank 2 is going to inflict damage to 220%, but also depletes an ultimate gauge and deletes a target's skill. Very crazy. I believe the first time that we've seen that coming on the global version of the game. So very interesting right there. And then the rank 3 inflicts damage equal to 360% of attack on one enemy and depletes 2 ultimate move gauge orbs as well. So both of Green Monspeet's cards are single target. So that's something else to keep in mind, is that for the week 3 PvP rules, you could see that he is indeed, Green Monspeet specifically, is really going to benefit from that 50% increased damage from single target attacks. So I know I've mentioned several times now, this does not 100% mean Derieri, because it's single target attacks. It could definitely apply to Monspeet as well. So it's by all means not 100% confirmed that Derieri is coming in the next couple of weeks. I still think she will, but maybe, it's not 100% by far. Anyway, getting back to Green Monspeet, we haven't gone through his passive yet, and that is increases damage dealt by 100% if attacking enemies with ignite debuffs. Now, this is obviously huge, and this is going to be a big factor into how awesome Green Monspeet is obviously you're going to get a lot of additional benefit from Ignite with his passive right there. And of course, because he's got that weak point on a single target, you have the potential to see some crazy damage numbers from this, especially with that week 3 PvP buff of an additional 50% damage as well. So you do have his commandment though. Allies and enemies will not gain ultimate move gauge from using skills in PvP, so that's something to be mindful of. Same ultimate as Red Monspeet, of course, 280 to 420% multiplier. But yeah, it's definitely going to be the Green Monspeet that sees a bit more play. And this will be the coin shop Monspeet as well. So you will be able to buy him. It'll be several weeks after his banner ends, of course. But that's why I say, like, this banner specifically, you know, if you're a collector, you really want to get him for collection purposes, or you want to get him right away to use during the week 3 PvP buff, then yes, you will probably want to summon on this banner. But a lot of people, I'm probably guessing most people, free-to-play light spenders, if you're saving your gems up for a lot of the craziness that's coming in the future, including Derieri, including, you know, possibly Lost Vein Meliodas coming in the next month or so as well, this is absolutely a banner that you could skip out on and feel okay about it, especially considering Green Monspeet's the better version, and you can get him later on in the coin shop without having to rely on RNG. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to lay this out there, and now at the end of the video, I wanted to turn the question to you guys. What are your plans for the coming week? What are your plans coming to the Monspeet banner? Are you going to summon? Are you going to skip? Are you going to buy him from the coin shop when he comes out? What do you guys think about, you know, everything that's going on and what's to come in the future? And I think that's where I'm going to leave off the video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. And if you did, you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to leave a quick like as well. It really does help out. So thank you to all of you who decide to quickly do that. And more Grand Cross Global videos should be popping up on the screen right about now, or in the suggested videos to your right or below. More guides, tutorials, and fun videos just like this on the channel. Feel free to check them out. But if not, until next time, take care everyone, have a fantastic day, and until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.